Oh, popping its fin up for us. Isn't that a stunner? Right then guys, welcome to another episode of Hooked. My name's John Murray and I'm an angling addict, and today I'm down on the banks of the River Wharfe at Linton. As you can see, it's snowing. This should have been the Christmas episode I think, but anyway, I'm out here persevering so that you guys don't have to. I've just brought one stick float rod along. It's -2 today, so as you can tell, I mean the weather's taken a bit of a turn for the worse, but hopefully this will clear up. So I'm just going to be doing a little bit of trotting for grayling, so we're going to see if we can get a couple of fish out in this bitterly cold weather. It looks pretty though, doesn't it? So I think without too much waffling, we'll just get straight on with it. Morning. Alright, you?
Just coming here.
It's a fish. Sorry? Yeah? You having a go? You want that? Yeah. Snow's coming down a bit heavy like.
Only just started, like, hasn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully it'll clear up.
Have I seen you on YouTube?
Yeah. Hence the cameras. Right, so we're off to a flying start. Nice little grayling on the stick there. Just finding my depth. Not fishing that far out, only a rod and a half or so. Well, this snow is not making it easy to see what's going on. It's a little bit difficult to spot the float when I'm casting out. It's alright once it's in the water. Well, we've had that early grayling, but it's not looking too promising for another bite right now. Reluctant to put a lot of feed in. Right guys, I've decided to have a move with peg. No more bites in the last one, so I just had the one grayling out. I've selected this peg. It's actually coming off a really fast glide. And there's a little bit of a back eddy here, and then the river kicks back out obviously my right hand side there, so it's very very fast on the inside, this big back eddy, and I'm just hoping there's a few fish sat in this hole here. I'm not going to feed too much bait in. I'm just going to go straight in with the maggot on the hook on its own to start with, and just assess how deep it is and whether there's anything there really. So I'll just add a little bit of extra depth on. See if we catch bottom. It's probably not much more than about 3 foot deep, I would imagine. So we're not really trotting. I'm just dropping in this hole. Yeah, so it's backing up on itself. This should be a natural food gathering point, and possibly some grayling should be looking for some shelter in here. Certainly I think if the river was still well up, there'd be quite a lot of fish sat in this hole. So there's definitely no movement on the inside there, so I may just cast it a little bit further out. See if we can pick up a little bit of flow and anything that might be sat on the crease. Really is stood still there. It's definitely backing up on itself. Could well be a few fish in here. I'm just going to throw a little bit of bait in. So the float's actually going around in circles. Really is quite a big back eddy this. There we go. Right in that still water. I think this might be a perch. Oh no. Is it a grayling? Yeah, it's a grayling. Beautiful. A cheeky little grayling there. So it just goes to show, guys, even in this freezing cold water, these fish will feed. And he was just sat in that slack water in that back eddy there, and he just took that. He was having it. So we'll have a few more chucks in here and see how we get on. Don't forget, guys, if you enjoyed the videos, give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode every time I upload one. Yeah, so I don't want to overfeed these swims, because the first swim it produced one fish and that was it. There's no more bites forthcoming. I'm just putting a few maggots in there just to keep them interested, but certainly little, but not that often. And this is just really just moving around in circles in front of me, this float. That looked like a bite. Hard to say. Could be. Sometimes it hits the flow and sometimes it hits that flow and it just drags it under. It's quite ferocious coming in here. There must be quite an obstacle for it to create such a back eddy like this in here. So the float's been on a big loop. It's just coming back around in front of me now. It's just bobbing around out there really. Now it's picked up some flow. It's disappeared. Ooh, I think we just caught a leaf there. Put no more bait in. That's gone, that's a fish. Yeah. Still feel a bad one actually. Just goes to show, I sat in that hole. Looks a nice grayling. Coming in a bit upside down. He's righted himself. Smashing fish this. That's a lovely grayling. It's so wiry, ridiculous. See if we can just free it up. Just in the lip. Beautiful fish. Incredibly difficult to get hold of. They won't behave. Beauty. Popping its fin up for us. Ain't that a stunner? Let's get it back. I'll just rest this fish in the net because it's a good size. Just make sure it's fit enough to go back. It's plenty fit enough, is that fish. It's ready. So the setup today is the same as ever. I've not changed this from the last few sessions I've been out on. It's just a 3BB alloy stick, and got a good bulk of number 8s down there. They're only about a foot below the hook at this moment in time, and then I've just got my micro swivel below that, and there's no shot down the line at all. So we'll pop another 10 maggots or so in, see if we can tempt another. See, I'm really just letting this float do its own thing, just going around in circles. The fish will be used to that. Bait gathering up, coming back up flow. Current's actually taking it quite well down the swim this time. Just coming back around. So there don't seem to be too much sort of sat down to my left hand side. All the bites I've had have been right in front of me here. So I think I'm just going to recover this. Just drop back in this really quite still hole in front of me. Just let it plod around in there. That's a fish biting there, right on the inside. It's in very still water. Didn't strike it because it didn't go properly. It went under, but it came back up. There's clearly fish sat in this slack, and sometimes that's all it's about. It's just a bit of watercraft and knowing where to have a go for some fish, maximising your chances in the winter. Tiny fish on the end. That's why it's not gone again. So, what is that? I think that's a tiny minnow. I'm not entirely sure how on earth that can possibly get that maggot down its mouth, but it has. So we'll just go a little bit further out than that. Just really chucking it right on the crease, where it's back eddying round. That was a bite. Really quickly. There's definitely a few fish out there. That's a bite. Ooh, we missed that one. It was a good bite, that. Yep. Getting a few bites. I don't know whether they're minnows. Feel confident enough to put a little bit more bait in. Yeah, something having a go at that. Something's got hold. Could be a minnow, this. Yeah. Small minnow. So rough is the water out there that sometimes, because it's eddying, it pulls it under. You can be tricked into thinking it is a bite when it's not. That's a bite though, and that is a fish. Tiny grayling. So it's real simple fishing this, guys. If you've never had a go at stick floating, I suggest you get down your local river and go and give it a go. There's still sport to be had at this time of year. And that's another bite and another fish. We're in again. I've got them queuing up now. Yeah, I think we'll swing it. Oh, it's a good fish. Bit large for swinging, really. He's gobbled that. And I say that's the other thing. At this time of year, it's worth moving pegs. Keep yourself mobile. All I've got with me today is one bag and just this rod, you know, the landing net, and a tub full of bait. The first peg that we were in, I could have stuck in that all day, probably not got another fish. It just wasn't looking likely. Got that early fish and then that was it. But moved in here and it looks like we've got a few queuing up, so just bear that in mind. This time of year, keep yourself mobile and try and find some fish, and once you're on them you should get a few out. Just going to shallow up a little bit. Last fish took it quite well down. I just had a nipped maggot there. I think that's from the minnows that are in here. Okay, put a couple of feeds in. I'm not going to pop any more in now until we catch one. Only maybe 20 maggots or so. Just trying to position this float right on the crease and just let it come around in the smaller circle. I think that's where a lot of fish are sitting. That's where we're putting the feed in, and I don't expect that the bait will be moving much further out of that area unless it gets caught out into the main flow, and then it will go on its way. But a lot of it should just be gathering up right in front of us, which should concentrate these fish a little bit. And that's a bite, and that's a fish. Lovely, right on the crease there. It's another lovely grayling. Not huge. Another bonny fish. Let's get it straight back. The smaller ones don't require too much rest. It's when you get the big ones and they give you a good battle that they tend to wear themselves out. That's it. That's like the perfect spot, just right on the edge of the crease. It's just kicking out is the flow, and I'm just coming inside of that, just hanging on the edge of it. That's where a lot of fish seem to be sitting, in and around that mark. Just holds lovely if you get it in the right spot. You can't believe it when you look at the flow. You won't think it was so still out there, but it really is. Nothing that time out there, but I'm coming back around. Just searching the water in front of us, letting the flow do its thing. That's gone. Missed it. Yeah, another one. Oh, decent fish. Just dropped back in on that line again. They're definitely just hanging on that crease. Fishing don't get better than this in winter, does it? Beautiful, nice fish. Smashing grayling that. What an absolute corker. So there we go guys, another beautiful little grayling. Winter fishing just don't get any better. That's another fish. Instant. We found the honey pot. Check them out. He's ready to go back. Ooh, kingfisher. Beautiful. Flash of electric blue down the river. Yep, another fish. Just hanging out of that flow of these grayling, they're not daft. Oh, I think it's, is that a brownie? That could be a trout. Oh no, it is a grayling. Thought it was a small brownie for a second. Fabulous fishing. Right, well it looks like the snow and rain's coming down again, guys, so I'm not sure how much longer we'll get at doing this, but it's just nice to get out at this time of year and get a few fish. If you haven't been out already, then I hope you can get yourselves out soon, and I wish you tight lines for the future. Flow just looks to be picking up a little bit. I think after all the snowfall we've had this morning, a bit of melt's coming down. Starting to push through a little bit harder on this river now. Difficult just to hold in the spot I was. Not so many fish come down the run. Most of them have been right at the head of it. It's kicked off out of the eddy. It's going on its way downstream. Just let it have a run. You never know. It does come back around in a big arc further down towards the tree here. Heck of a boil down there. I don't know what causes that. I can't allow it to come right back around because it would be into the tree. So I haven't had a bite on the last couple of puts in, so I'm just going to hold off with any feed. See if anything's still down there, or whether we've about exhausted this swim now. Don't look like a bite. A bit further out this time. Still holding steady out there. It's probably like 3 or 4 eddies on this. It sort of comes in on the right hand side here. Another one just out there, and then the bigger one right down towards the tree. A really boily swim. The slowest one is right in front of me. I spent a long time in there without the float moving. Just pop half a dozen maggots back in. Try and keep them confident if there's anything still there. Something having a dabble, but I think it's probably just a minnow. Not quite taking it right. Yeah, minnow. Minnow on the end. Well, I think the grayling have gone. Smash maggot, but I think that's just minnows. So I'll probably just give it 2 or 3 more minutes and call it a day. Oh, fish! Good fish. Don't know what this is. Just kicked out into the flow, and all of a sudden, oh, we've got something on here. Could be a trout, this. It just kicked out into the flow, it disappeared, I struck. We're into a good fish. Don't know what this is, but it's pulling hard, really hard. It'd be lovely if it was a chub, but I think it's probably going to be a trout. Looks like it's coming in sideways now. Oh my word, if that's a grayling, that's enormous. Oh, that is a good fish. That is a big grayling. It's coming in sideways. I'll try and move down here just so we can net it. Oh, wow. That's an absolute bruiser of a grayling, and I think a fitting way to end today. Stunning fish. What about that beauty? Absolutely stunning fish to finish the day on. Well made up with that. -2 to start with today, but when you can come to a river and catch fish like this, it just makes it all the worthwhile getting out. Well, I hope you enjoyed that session as much as I did, guys. I've only had about 3 hours fishing there, but when you can come out, -2 degrees C, snow falling out of the sky, and catch fish like that stunning grayling that we had at the end there, I mean, what's not to like? So get yourselves out there, get inspired, go and have a go, get some fishing done. I wish you all the best for 2021, and until the next one, tight lines.